What we want to do now is really look at the building, see all the different patterns and shapes and textures, try and record that in your sketchbook. We want to bring back as much material as we can to work with later. What initially attracted me to Mark Wallinger's Labyrinth was I just thought it was a lovely idea, the way it symbolizes a journey, and I love the repetition of it. There's a sort of completely similar language but a different labyrinth for every single tube station. And I guess I could see some parallels to my own work in some of the ideas of that artwork, thinking about lots of information but representing it in a simple symbol, if that makes sense. And I guess that's what I was interested in doing with my workshops, to sort of explore the visual environment of a tube station or a school and sort of spend time collecting all this material visually, parts of the building, drawings of spaces and textures, and then sort of very intuitively just thinking through making, used all this material to create a new piece of work that sort of represented that journey we had been on. We're going to collect lots of textures and shapes and materials from your school, and then we're going to use them to make first some small drawings and then some really big drawings. What we want to do is now go for a little journey around the school and collect lots of material that we can use to make our artworks. I guess I'm interested in how to make a simpler version of all this complex information and sort of talk about a place in a way that the students maybe are not used to. That's what I thought about initially when I saw the work.
For the cars to come. We made like the path where the people go, and then we made like a tunnel, and then we made a house.
I hope the children start looking at the environment in a different way perhaps, and probably as well that they have an experience that they wouldn't have had otherwise. Start thinking about how contemporary artists work, and I hope they feel empowered to make work themselves and confident and have new ideas about place and where they are.
What first attracted me to the Labyrinth project is obviously it's a very strong visual symbol, but it's also a journey that you take with your mind. So I really like the idea that in a space that's noisy and chaotic and hectic, like an underground station or on some kind of journey you're taking in your everyday life, you get this space to think and reflect on things using this really beautiful visual symbol. My work relates to the Labyrinth in that they're both concerned with myth and folklore and the idea of stories. So labyrinths are ancient symbols and systems that we've been using for thousands and thousands of years and through all different cultures throughout the world, and that's something that I'm really interested in, how we use myth and stories to create an understanding of the world, and that's something that I think labyrinths are a big part of.
You guys need to do the sound of talking.
people talking, so you could use the station and your own voices.
We're trying to record sounds of doors closing and the sound that trains make when they stop, so the squeaking.
During the workshops, all the children and young people, they chose a story that they wanted to investigate throughout the day. And what we did, we used sound recording equipment to go around and collect sounds that we found or made in the school or in the station or in the world around us. And what was really exciting about that is we were able to kind of explore the world not just visually but using our other senses. The stories from the underground to create sound pieces all together, and what could have and maybe comes across as quite chaotic actually has a lot of method to it, and hopefully that's reflected in the final sound pieces.
An underground worker was reminding himself, I remember that, on a track walk down at Kennington. He went for a walk around Kennington Loop.
On his way round, he bumped into somebody
who was dressed in old clothes and had an old lamp with him.
He said hello
and carried on with his walk.
He got back to the station
and said to the station supervisor,
"Who else is down on the track?"
And the supervisor said,
"There's no one else down there."
So the worker said, "Oh no, I saw someone down there with an old lamp and old clothes."
So the supervisor said,
I see you've met our ghost."
What I hope the children will get out of these workshops is a sense of possibility in the world around them, and really importantly I hope that they get to see that art doesn't just have to be observational drawings of bottles or copying Monet paintings, but it can include sounds and stories and playing and their own experiences and the things that they think are important.
I think what really captured me was the puzzle-like, game-like form of the Labyrinth as presented by Mark. I think also this idea of a beginning and an end in terms of narrative, so all stories have a beginning, a middle and an end. And within my own practice I use kind of gameplay quite a lot to convey or explore this idea of kind of fragmented, restructured narratives, and thinking about this fragmentary state of memory and how we piece these puzzle-like pieces together. So for me it's a way of working out how to understand how we rethink those ideas, and Mark's work kind of jumped out visually to me as a way of exploring that. Even the idea of the Labyrinth being a kind of personal journey, that walking through to a central place was kind of quite interesting to me. The idea of the workshop is that the students think creatively about their own experiences of journeying and take that into a more imaginative realm, I guess. So thinking about, again, this idea of taking apart and restructuring journeys, so thinking about a beginning and an end point and how they get from those points. We've got quite an exciting day planned. We're going to take a trip to St James's Park to just do some really close observational drawings. So we're going to be thinking overall about how to construct a journey that you can later make into an artwork.
rushing A to Z, cameras flashing. The tube is in the limelight, people drawing signs and stuff, ready for their portrait. The underground, what a labyrinth.
We started by doing a creative writing workshop where they were encouraged to think about kind of colours and shapes and feelings, to think outside the normal ways, I guess, of describing journeys. And we worked to put together creative writing pieces and then moved on to visual screen printed tiles from that. And the idea is that at the end of the day they'll all have their unique journey tile which can be put alongside those of their peers to make a new journey narrative.